on Tisha, it's not funny. Tisha, I'm sorry. Turn this off if you're watching. But the way she might be Darkwing Duck, in one swoop, she got that, and all of that was on Tisha. You know we don't approve violence of any kind. But this is a Sunday, right? We have to talk about it. That's towards the end of the episode, guys. Let's get into a countdown. This is our weekly recap of the Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 21. Lord have mercy, not 21. Yes, 21. But I don't think we have that many more episodes to go. We do have that trip. I don't know what's going on. But we have a lot to unpack in regards to this episode. So be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe because it is a subscribers only live chat, and vote in our live chat poll to let us know how you would rate this week's episode from 1 to 10. All right. So let's get into this countdown and then let's get into this recap. And while we get into a countdown and a recap, go get your merch. Go get your merch. Cite Your Sources merch are now available. Links are available in the description of this video.
Won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow my lady. Just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. This is our weekly recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Woo! What an episode. What an episode. It's almost Halloween. I forgot to put up my Halloween stuff, but it's okay. It's all right. You know, in honor of Halloween, let's play this clip. Oh, damn it. I can't play the clip, and I wanted to play the scam clip. Damn it. Computers. Annoying. Anyways, happy Halloween. Happy Libra season. It's about to be actually, I think almost by the time it's almost Scorpio season, right? When Scorpio season start. Anyways, happy whatever season it is. Happy early birthday. Happy to anyone celebrating a birthday. Don't forget, guys, a new episode of our podcast just dropped yesterday. So be sure to check that out. I talk all about everything that's going on with Bravo and their lawsuits and this expose that's coming out. But I also talk about my experience at the Lauryn Hill and Fugees concert this past week. And of course, I talk about Big Brother 25. So go check out that Kempire Radio on all major podcast platforms. So if I had to rate this week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, I probably would give it a 9. But that might be very generous. But these last couple of weeks have been really interesting for me. And you know I'm not really into love and marriage at all. I do it for you. All right? I do it for you. But now I'm doing it for me. Okay, because we got to talk about this episode. So at the top, the amount of sound effects that they were playing, from doggy sounds to sounds and this sound, I could hardly make out what was happening in this conversation between Kiki and Melody. I could barely make out what was being said. What I could make out was that Marsau allegedly had a threesome with these people, and then the ex-boyfriend or the then boyfriend broke up with the one of the women that was in this threesome, and he ended up breaking it up. Look, apparently Marsau is Marsauing, cheating, allegedly. And these people came and brought the information to Kiki. And then Kiki tried to get in contact with Tisha to tell Tisha, but Tisha never showed up. And then this guy contacted Tisha, and then Tisha contacted Kiki to be like, have you been telling this guy this information? So there's a lot of telephone happening right now when it comes to this whole situation. I can't believe that we are in season 6 and we're still talking about Marsau possibly cheating, and we have not found any solid evidence except the picture of him, the back of his head allegedly in the bed. Do you guys think that Marsau's cheating? Or do you think they're leaning into this story to have some sort of storyline? Or do you think, no, he's really cheating? So Kiki and Melody are catching up, and she brings up this whole situation with Marsau. And throughout the entire conversation, they're playing sound effects to replace the people's actual names and jobs and things like that. So Kiki brings that up, and then Kiki brings up Tisha's business that she has with her daughters that we saw last week. And she points out that the shipping policy was a copy and paste. And according to Mel, that's not the first time that we've had with Tisha being copy and paste. And then they showed the receipts. Oh, Tisha. So, of course, this is addressed a little bit later on in the episode, but apparently she used Canvas Beauty's shipping policy in her situation. I mean, these things can happen. It shouldn't happen if you use a reputable web designer, unless she did it herself and she wants to blame a web designer. I just feel like, girl, especially when you're a public figure, you really do have to make sure that you comb through all of those details. A lot of these policies are copy and paste from other places. So it's not like this shipping policy is so unique and it's like she's stealing some sort of creative idea, like she allegedly stole Melody's logo similarity. So that's a little different. That's a little different because it's like, girl, this is my brand. A shipping policy, I'm not going to get really mad at that. I mean, what would be annoying is if people start contacting Canvas Beauty with their shipping issues. That's the annoying part, I see. Copying a policy that probably Canvas Beauty probably has utilized from another standard, I'm not going to be too mad at that. It's not like it's art. You know what I mean? So, look. All right, I got your back on this one, Tisha. Kind of. Look, kind of. So, now I don't know how we went from Marsau's having threesomes to Tisha's shipping policy, but I appreciate Kiki being the bone carrier in this situation. But in all reality, you know who the real bone carrier is? Melody. Melody knows what she's doing. She's producing a scene. She's like, Kiki called, I got some tea. All right, we're going to film it. That's what I believe happened. Anyways, I'm not gonna throw Melody under the bus. Okay, Melody. Melody was a mood at that party, though. We'll get there. Let's go. So Maurice is getting a new car for Kimmi, and he learned a lot after, the whole situation with her cancer, and he's like, I want to do something nice for her. And then he makes a joke about she doesn't have a lot of hair right now. Like, I don't understand how he doesn't realize that these things aren't funny. I didn't find it funny. Look, and I know some people are like, are you being overly sensitive? Here's the thing. We literally have these scenes with Kimmi saying that she doesn't feel great about her body with everything that's happening. Losing her hair was a big deal. So for him to make these just these jokes about something that if she was to see it later, she might feel a way about it. Or someone else. You just never know how someone's going to react. And the constant bringing up, now you're talking to Marsau about your sex life with your wife on camera. I only had it 2 times this month. You're lucky you had 2 times. Homegirl just went through cancer. I get so mad. I get so mad with him. And I don't know if he's just doing this for the show or if he's just this much of an idiot. I'm sorry. I know it's Sunday. I just don't understand. You're so insensitive. And I'm not going to take away from caregivers. Because that's something that we should talk about as well. I'm not saying that we shouldn't think about Maurice and how he's feeling, but I could care less about your sexual feelings. Go rub one out. Damn, it's Sunday. It's not Kempire After Dark. Go rub one out and leave us alone. And leave Kimmi alone. You're lucky you got it twice in a month. Homegirl just got through cancer. Give her a year. I know. No, wait.
And scene.
Well, give her as much time that she needs and feels ready. I'm so annoyed with him in this stupid storyline. So he talks about that. And then he tells Marsau that he's planning this barbecue where he's going to invite Stormy and Courtney. He's like, and Marsau's like, I don't have a problem with them. I don't even consider them friends. And then he says, I've lived without them being in my life for 43 years. And I said, Marsau's 43? You know how I always, and look, and this is no age shaming and things like that. I'm always dumbfounded when I think about people in my age bracket. And I'm like, that's 43. Ooh. All right. So he said he doesn't have an issue. He doesn't have an issue with Courtney and Stormy. He doesn't consider them friends. So Stormy and Courtney, we get to their scene. First of all, Stormy and Courtney, you know I love the estate. You know I do. Damn, Stormy admitted that people online don't like her. Is it really that much? You guys really? No, I do see the comments in my comment section about Stormy. I don't get the hate that you guys have for Stormy. Is it because she's not besties with Melody anymore? You guys have turned on her? Come on. We are a lot more mature than that. I don't feel like Stormy has brought so much to Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'll be real. But at the same time, I don't dislike Stormy to the point. You know how Dusty, we didn't really feel for Dusty. But I feel like Stormy does try on this show. Like she really has her own thing going on. And I'd like to see more of her own personal stuff. And we did. Remember part 1 of the season, we got a lot of her own family stuff, which was like, oh, what's going on? Right now, we've leaned off of that a little bit. But apparently, Stormy was sick. She had strep, and then it turned into almost sepsis. Oh, my God. This is why you can't take your health for granted. Just because they tell you strep doesn't mean, even the flu can kill you. Oh, damn. It's true, though. People die from the flu. So you just got to take care of yourself. All right? So, of course, they talk about... First, they talk about how much they do like Kiki. I think we all kind of, in a way, like Kiki. Don't we? In some way, she's messy at certain points, but maybe I guess she's the lesser of two evils. If you had to choose Kiki over Tisha, pick one. Live chat. Pick one. If you had to choose Tisha or Kiki, I'm choosing Kiki. Because I feel like when Kiki has an argument or Kiki's having a conversation, she makes a lot of sense. So Stormy and Courtney are like, yeah, we like Kiki. But he's like, you called her Darkwing Duck. And then he showed when she did. And she's like, well, I didn't call her Darkwing Duck. It was the image that they used on Crime Stoppers. And shout out to the producers, always putting that disclaimer and reminding us that Kiki has not been charged.
And scene.
She has not been charged. I don't know how she got away with it. And when they showed her on camera, it was like, that looked like Kiki to me with a Louis Vuitton. She called her Darkwing Duck. And I have to say that same giggle that she had, I had too. I was like, don't get mad at her, Kiki. I think it was funny. She didn't mean no harm. So Stormy brings up that she received a text from Tisha, and of course she had the conversation about the shipping policy and how everybody on social media was talking about it. I missed it. You know, I really do not pay attention to any of the side stories of the drama of Love and Marriage Huntsville online. You know, I don't pay attention. I could care less. I'd much rather just talk about the show and move on, unless it's really juicy. Like that fight that happened on IG. Unless it's something like really juicy. And you guys know what to come to me with. None of y'all came to me with this. At least I don't recall. So apparently this whole Canvas Beauty copy and pasting situation was a scandal online. And Stormy was just like, I don't know if she said this is not the first time someone has copied from my website. When you're doing it right, people are going to copy from you. I've had that experience.
And scene.
Guys, don't forget to check out our sponsor, Coldest. Head on over to coldest.com, but don't forget to use the discount code Kempire10 for 10% off of your order. They don't just have water bottles, they have ice packs. I need the ice pack right now. They have sheets, pillows, things for your pets. Head on over to the description of this video for more details on how you can get something from Coldest as well. All right. All right. Let me take another sip. Oh, still cold. I love it. So they talk about that, and then Courtney talks about how he doesn't want to go to this barbecue. He's just like, he's afraid of what he might do to Marsau. And sometimes when I feel when people say stuff like that, I'm like, are they just talking big and bad, or they will do something? But then I look at Courtney, I'm like, nah, he might do something. He actually might do something. And honestly, I'd much rather him not go. I understand why Stormy would want her husband there, because it's going to be nothing but couples. You don't want to be the only person not there that's there without your husband and your partner. So I feel like he could have mustered up the strength not to do anything to Marsau and go and hang out with the guys. You know what I mean? But I also get why he's like, I don't know if I can control myself. I control myself as much as I could at that town hall. All right. All right. All right. Marsau and Tisha meet up. So I forgot that they had this space. Why are you guys building so many things and Scott Manor hasn't even been built yet? So they're going to have this barbershop, and they're going to have this Scott Realty place here. So they're looking at the process and things like that. So this is where Marsau reveals that someone called the city and reported that he was illegally gambling. And of course he denies this, but then I'm thinking to myself, well, sir, how do you do bet on Blaque if it's not gambling? I'm trying to understand. I don't know the city of Huntsville's rules on gambling. So I was wondering, because now it looks like they're not going to have this event. How were you planning to do this situation, like the bet on Blaque situation, without the right ordinances and things? Look, I don't know what the word terminology is. You guys will let me know in the chat and in the comment section. Like, how are you planning to do this in Huntsville without the right permits? There we go. To do it. And it might be illegal, because I feel like if it's not... Or did they not think about that? Because we have to remember, Tisha and Marsau's business sense, when we've seen these recent meetings about the expo at the event, you thought I was not going to bring it up. You thought I was not going to say it. The event and at the expo. So when they were talking about the whole planning of that, you saw how these two, although they are successful in other ways, their business sense doesn't seem that great. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were planning this gambling event without the proper permits or understanding the legality of the situation. And now Marsau's like, oh, I don't even want to do it now, because he probably can't do it. Where are Huntsville folks? Can you gamble in Huntsville? And if you can, do you need special permits? Please let us know in the live chat or the comment section. All right. So they're talking about that, but then Tisha breaks. She gets a little emotional because the shipping policy thing comes up. She blames the web designer, and apparently Marsau tries to insinuate, isn't this the same web designer that Canvas Beauty used? And she doesn't even say, yes, it is. So I think he was trying to find some sort of excuse. It probably isn't the same web designer. It probably isn't the same web designer. But it wouldn't shock me if it was and they did something like that. It wouldn't shock me. But like I said, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal because I feel like there are a lot of these websites that you see have the same exact terminology. They have the same exact terminology. All they do is really change. A lot of these web designers, all they do is change like the names and things like that. This particular web designer, Tisha Scott, forgot to take out Canvas Beauty. Okay, I don't think it's a big deal. But Tisha does get emotional because she feels like everyone's attacking her. She doesn't understand why she gets so much hate. And then when she said it, I was like, I'm not sure exactly why she gets so much hate. And I know what you guys are going to say in the live chat and in the replay crew. Well, she defends a lot of this stupidity. She says a lot of these things about Melody and other people in the group. So she's not completely innocent. So Tisha, I felt for you, but then I thought about, because I don't remember everything chapter and verse for Love and Marriage Huntsville. But you're also not very innocent either. And I never understand online bullying or the hate and things like that. I talk about you guys here, and that's it. I'm not going in your comment section and talking about you. If you see me talking about you, it's because you came and hunted it down yourself. All right? I don't tag you. The only tag I put on social media is LAMH. If you're searching that and it shows up, it ain't my fault. I am entitled to my opinion of your show. Okay? But, people can be cruel online. but I'm too busy to pay attention. You guys have too many projects to be that enthralled in when it comes to social media. All right. But she does get upset because she feels like everyone's coming for my marriage. Everyone's coming for and what she's not saying in this scene, because we have to remember what happened at the top of this episode was the Kiki drama. What she's not saying in the scene is that really what she's emotional about, it's not about the copy and paste. That's probably the cherry on top. It's about the Marsau rumors that are circulating about this threesome. You know what I mean? So as I'm watching this scene, I'm saying to myself, she's not upset about what's happening when it comes to this whole, website thing. She's more upset about the same rumor that's out there. And Marsau in this moment is trying to console her. But at the same time, you're the reason why she's having these issues. If you did not make it possible for people to say the things that they're saying, because I feel like in some way, even if he's somewhat innocent, I think there's probably some inappropriate behavior happening. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of smoke. Like this episode is called, Where There's Smoke, There's Marsau. There's a lot of smoke around Marsau. And I believe that there is definitely something inappropriate happening with Marsau. I don't know if he's had a full-on cheatation situation, even though I'm inclined to believe that he has. But I'm not there. I don't know. But like I said, there's a lot of smoke around Marsau. And I do feel for Tisha. But Tisha, at what point do you draw the line and say, I'm not dealing with this anymore? Or hire a private investigator to confirm for yourself. But she says, I believe him. And she's like, I'm so glad to have you as a partner. It's kind of sad because we really believe that, and we've talked about this, especially with the whole Melody versus Marsau situation, that he has manipulated this woman into believing like that's, and I feel like she probably feels as if that's all she has. Her kids and Marsau. She has a shaky relationship with the rest of her family. I don't even think she's that close with Mama Wanda like that. So I do feel like she probably has, devoted her entire life to Marsau. And even though she's had this platform to build things for herself, he sort of controlled what she's building and what she knows. So she's very alienated and isolated. So part of me feels for Tisha, but I hope that Tisha does wake up one day. And I'm not saying that she needs to leave her husband, but she definitely needs to start laying some boundaries and figuring things out for her future if she is to leave Marsau at any point. Where's your FU fund? But maybe she has one. Kimmi and Marsau do a cookout. All right, so they're having a cookout. And I have to say, once I started seeing everyone come and the backyard is all set up, you see everything's on the grill. And now that summer's over, I'm like, oh, this is nice. It's nice to see everyone come over. Seeing Melody so happy and she's just a bubble of energy. And I don't care if it's fake. I don't care if it's fake. But I liked seeing it. All right. So Melody comes over and she ignores Martell when he arrives, which I'm here for. We barely got any Martell in this episode. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, producers. Thank you, editors. He tries to say hello to Melody, and she's like, because I can't even recall what might be happening in this timeline of filming, but we know they're not in a good space. We already know they're not in a good space. She just does not see it for him. Anytime she's nice to him, he takes it too far. So she doesn't say anything to him. All right. Nell and Chris are there. Sidebar. I didn't know that Nell and Chris had separated at some point. So separation doesn't mean that people can't get back together and work through things. All right. Sidebar, the preview for next week, we see Chris Fletcher in his gym wear. All right, Chris. Not only does he look good in the suit, he got body. All right. I was like, oh. Okay, Chris Fletcher. You got good hair, good skin. Mind you, Chris Fletcher, how old is Chris Fletcher? I don't want to guess, but I think he might be older than Marsau and looking better. Just saying, in a lot of different ways. Anyways, so they're there having a good time and, playing. They're playing all different kinds of card games. Melody's excited to take everyone's money. I'm feeling the vibes. Okay. So Marsau arrives with Tisha. Everyone's having a good time. They're playing cards. Tisha even says hello to Melody. All right. Stormy arrives. First of all, Stormy arrived before everyone else. Courtney dropped her off, and Kimmy's like, "Why is Courtney not here?" And she's like, "He doesn't want anything to blow up." Blah blah blah. They didn't understand. She's like, "So he's never gonna come around." So that she feels like they're pressing her about it, and she's just like, "I don't want to talk about my husband when he's not here." Okay, what's up? I felt like that was about to come out. I felt like that was about to be like, "What's up?" I thought that was about to come out because she was just like, "Shut it down. My husband's not here. I don't want to talk about it." It's because she's probably annoyed. She probably really wanted him to be there too. And the fact that they're pointing it out, it's just like, I can't explain it to y'all. He decided he didn't want to come. He didn't come. All right? All right. So everyone arrives. Kiki and her husband arrive late. So Kiki tries to give a hug to Tisha, and Tisha does like a like swerves her. All right. I felt like that was immature. I'm not saying that she had to hug her. You could be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Or even like a little, and it kept it like that. So, of course, this gets Kiki riled up, and Kiki decides to start talking to poor Stormy. Stormy was so in the middle. Did you guys get secondhand embarrassment for Stormy? Because she is trying to play this game with Tisha, who she doesn't get along with really. And Stormy's on one other side talking about the mess, and all we hear is the sound effects. And all these little sound effects to block out the names and the jobs and things like that. And Stormy's just like trying to play the game and say, "I'm listening." What's up? And she's trying to listen and play the game. And she's like, "Do you have?" And she takes it. She's like, Kiki takes the cards, and she's like, "Well, take all the cards." So she's getting riled up because she's like, "You're not going to ignore me." Because she's being a messy. Kiki was being messy in this moment because she could have just left it alone. She could have left it alone, but then, what would we have? And because they're not paying attention to her, because they're ignoring her, and I was looking at the drink because, you saw the preview, and I was like, the drink was first in front of Stormy, and then she moved the drink away, and I wish they would have had a camera on the slow motion of when Kiki hit the drink that it completely missed Marsau. I don't know if any got on him because all of that drink got on Tisha. She looked drenched. And I get it why she was upset and perturbed because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And she was soaked. Like her entire hair, her entire outfit was wet. I feel for her. Honestly, if she had wanted to start fighting, I don't condone violence, but I would understand because that's like spitting in your face. I feel like it's almost the same thing. Like, I didn't like it when we saw it on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City when Jen did that to Angie K during that trip. She poured the wine on her. But even this was worse because that entire drink went on Tisha. So I felt for Tisha. I felt why she was angry. I wouldn't be mad if Maurice and Kimmi said, "You gotta go. You can't do that. You can't do that." She didn't say anything. She's ignoring you. Just let it be. But you don't like being ignored, Kiki, and then you... But what I don't like is what happens next when Marsau insinuates that Kiki's addiction is the reason why she's acting the way that she's acting. I didn't like that because that's a sensitive topic. That's something that you're holding on to throw in someone's face whenever you're having an argument. And it's not as if this is, you've had multiple arguments and this was the last straw. But for some people might say, well, this was the last straw for him. Here I go twerking on a fence. New merch now available. I can't wait to get my twerking on a fence merch. So I just felt like that was below the belt. She's dealing with addiction. She's dealing with it every day. I'm sure she has urges and things like that. I don't know where she is in her recovery phase. However, I just feel like, yeah, just lay off of that. Yeah, what she did was not right. I'm not condoning Kiki's behavior at all. I don't know why she went there. She should have just ignored Tisha and had a good time so that we can see that side of Kiki, having a good time with everyone else, being shady with everyone else. You can make comments, but when you start throwing things at people, some people say that's a zero tolerance policy. You threw something on someone, let's compare it to housewife shows. If this was other people in this particular situation, some of you would say she needs to go home or she needs not to be on this show anymore. Just saying, just pointing it out. So then, once Marsau makes that comment, things get heated between Kiki's husband and Marsau. And that's how the episode ends. I was like, damn. So we're going to see the continuation of the situation next week. This was a mess. A mess. But at least this week, Melody wasn't at the center of the mess, but not literally, but I always feel like Melody's in the background. Melody's in the background. Interesting. Guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to vote in our live chat poll if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook. Don't forget to like the video if you're watching on Twitch, Twitter. Be sure to share the video. Be sure to follow us on those platforms if you haven't already. Shout out to our channel members. To become a member of the channel, head on over to TheKempire.com/join. Shout out to all of our channel members. We appreciate you guys and all of your feedback. And of course, shout out to our King's Guards. We could not do our live shows and handle the comment section without our King's Guards. So be sure to say hello and thank you to our King's Guards in the live chat and in the comment section. We appreciate them. So was there anything else that I want to say about this episode? For me, the episode it flew by before I knew it. I was like, oh, we're ending? So for me, it was like, okay, that was an entertaining episode. It was good. So far, the second part of season 6 has been far better than season 6, part 1, in my opinion. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? If you had to switch anyone out of this cast, who would you switch? I mean, I feel like everyone's bringing a little something. Everyone this season has something going on. There isn't anyone that where was Tiffany? Was Tiffany not invited to the party? I just realized this. Where was Tiffany? And her messy self. Anyways, I'm sure we will see her next week. I'm sure we will see her next week. Unless did I fast forward through a scene? You know, because I was fast forwarding through commercials. If I did, you guys will let me know in the chat. And apparently it didn't, I'm sure I didn't miss any context in regards to this episode. Guys, don't forget to like the video as always, and don't forget to share the video. And if you are not a new subscriber, become one. Become one. I know some of you are watching in the bushes. Become a new subscriber. All right. We've just hit over 313,000 subscribers here on the Kempire channel. So for those of you that are watching on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, be sure to subscribe here if you haven't already. And be sure to check out some of the things that you missed yesterday. We had 2 different stories that I had to cover. Brian McKnight changing his name legally, still shading his biological children. We also talked about DJ Envy and his drama that's happening with this whole Ponzi real estate scheme. Be sure to check out those videos and go give it a like and a comment. And don't forget, this month we are raising $2,500 for Black Women's Health Imperative in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are still very far from our goal, and the end of the month is fast approaching. So please be sure to donate what you can or share this video so other people can donate as well. I'll be changing I'll be adding the fundraiser to this live after the live. So be sure to donate what you can. You can check out the last video that we posted. All the links are available there. Help us get to at least $1,000. I think we're almost there at $1,000, but I'm trying to raise over $2,500 for Black Women's Health Imperative. We raised over $2,500 last year. All right. So let's try and do that again. We appreciate everyone that has donated already, and we appreciate all of you being here. Let's get those likes up if you haven't liked the video already. I will see you all in the next one. Let's get into a musical outro. Okay?
It's been way too long, I've been building walls around me. Keep my distance so you never know too much about me. Trying to keep you out cause I love my safe space. But the problem is I never looked into my own face. Am I ashamed of myself? Am I afraid of my emotions? Am I ashamed of myself? Am I afraid of my emotions? We let it go, will we hold it inside? It's hard to take the blame, I know it doesn't feel right. We let it go, will we hold it inside? You're more than just your past, you're more than what you realize. We let it go, will we hold it inside? It's hard to take the blame, I know it doesn't feel right. We let it go, will we hold it inside? You're more than just your past, you're more than what you realize. It's been way too long, I've been building walls around me. Keep my distance so you never know too much about me.